What's up everybody and welcome back to another video. We got another little sit down topic for you today, and today we're going to talk about why you should stop bulking, or maybe more specifically when you should stop bulking, and maybe what reasons would I say are there for you to be able to just stop putting on body weight. Well, there's going to be a few cases for this, and it's going to depend on where you are in your season. It's going to depend on what your overall goals are. Not everyone wants to be a bodybuilder. Generally speaking, there is a few reasons specifically why I would say that's more than enough there. Let's either come back down or let's maintain. I'm going to do them just in no particular order, so you might find that you relate to one of these. The first one is going to be the one that I suffer with the most, is you can't eat anymore. You physically can't eat the amount that you need to eat in order for your body weight to progress. I've been there a few times before. For me, roughly, it happens about 5,500. Anything above 5,000 calories becomes a real struggle, and obviously the closer towards 6 I get. I've been above 6 before, but it comes near impossible for me personally to generate the appetite to eat enough. And if you cannot generate the appetite, you cannot eat enough, you cannot grow. You cannot eat, you cannot grow. If there is a reason why your body weight is not going up, eat more. You physically can't eat anymore and your body weight's not going up, you're gonna have to do something different, because the only thing you can do is either do less, which you can try. Maybe you train 4 times a week instead of 5, maybe you do 0 steps, but that then starts to become not conducive to feeling good and having, like a healthy heart and things like that. So when you physically cannot eat enough, now this is generally going to happen to people who hold potentially a lot more muscle. It's also going to happen to people who are generally on the skinny side or the ectomorph side, the typical ectomorph where maybe tall, skinny or thin, and you're a quote unquote hard gainer, but really it's just you got to eat more food. You might find the point where you just can't eat anymore. Okay, maybe you exhaust healthier foods, cleaner foods, maybe you exhaust drinking stuff, maybe you exhaust adding oils, and you try all these different techniques and you still can't eat enough. You're gonna have to do something different. Well, the quickest thing to reset the appetite is gonna be pull back. It's gonna be reduce your calories. It's gonna be go into a deficit. So you can either pull straight to maintenance, so your body weight stays if you really don't want to lose any weight, or what I would personally do is maybe take a 4 to 6 week period of pulling back your food, resensitizing your appetite, and putting yourself in a place where you can then continue to eat again for a few more months. If you are someone who doesn't have the body fat, like if you're still lean but you can't eat, for example, or you're acceptably lean and you still need to put on weight, that would be the case of that short mini cut. Now, there's going to be another case where I'll probably stop eating and stop bulking, and it'll be when you get too fat. Now, there will be a period of time when there is going to be acceptably fat and there's going to be unacceptably fat. I have my own personal preference of what I find unacceptable for myself, and I also have sometimes stricter rules with clients who are potentially on the heavier side, potentially on the higher body fat side, people who generally have struggled with either losing weight or getting lean at any point in their life. Generally speaking, that cap is going to be a little bit stricter than someone who's naturally skinny. So when you get too fat, there are a few signs that you can look out for too fat, because you may be able to continue to eat, you may be able to continue to train, but there will be a point when it actually just looks like you're gaining a bit too much body fat, and you will start to tip that scale in favor of gaining weight as body fat versus weight as muscle. The main places for males would be looking at that umbilical, so right around that belly button, right around the lower hips, lower back. You'll start to accumulate that body fat, and if it starts to get to the point where maybe it's hanging, maybe you can wobble it, it's probably a little case that you've gone a little bit too far. However, if you're someone who has always suffered with those things, like that hip fat or the wobbly stomach, for example, which many people do go through, don't worry, you can still get to that at a later point, but you may have to take a break initially. Now, when we look at women, it's going to be very similar. Like, yes, you're going to get it around the umbilical, but you're going to get it even more there. Just specifically, you've got your womb there, you're going to look to protect that a little bit more naturally as the body does. But hips, thighs, bum, those are going to be the places that you start to notice that kind of increase in body fat, and you're going to have your own acceptably fat, which as a percentage is going to be higher than a male, because as females you need to have higher body fat percentages generally for bodily function. It's much more important for you to have. So there is going to be a place where you get unacceptably fat. There is no way I can flick up a picture on screen and say this is too fat. Not only do I not want to find someone like that, but I do really believe it is different for everyone. For me, I don't know whether I could even get unacceptably fat for myself, because I can't eat enough, for example. But there'll be other people who can eat even less, half of what I can, but will get unacceptably fat. So, and forgive me if you find me saying fat and thin and skinny crude. I just very think of it as black and white. I'm a little bit numb to it when it comes to like judging people's physique. So we've got those two cases there. You've got the I can't physically eat anymore. Well, you got no other choice. You've got too fat. Well, you've got no other choice. Right here, you've got two options. You can either maintain your weight, which often works quite well, maybe a 4 to 6 week period of maintenance, and then you can choose what to do then, if you can go up or down. But most likely, you're gonna have to come down again and pull some of that body fat off. The difference here is that we're not doing this for appetite. We're not doing this as a short-term fix to appetite. We'll be doing this to lose body fat because you are unacceptably fat. So let's say too fat is here, let's say too skinny is here. Well, you're already here. So 4 to 6 weeks is only going to take you back down to here. For you to then to reverse back up, you're going to hit that too fat period very, very quickly. So actually, what you're going to have to do is take a good old chunk of body fat off. Hope this is making sense, by the way, it is for me. You're going to have to take a good old chunk of body fat off in order for you to be able to sustain that reverse diet and so, hopefully push a little bit further. And then the next time you get to unacceptably fat, that is not here anymore, it's a little bit heavier. And that way you can kind of continually, I don't want to encourage a yo-yo, but it will be a yo-yo, but on a macro scale, like a yearly scale, 6 months up, 6 months down, rather than a month up, a month down. So that's what you can do in that scenario. But there's a few other reasons why potentially you would have to look to stop eating so much and stop bulking. Injuries, holidays, time off training, or a period of reduced output. You can imagine it has a pretty big impact. Let's say you do cardio 5 times a week. You do a spin class, you do whatever, you do PT and you walk a lot, and then suddenly you don't for a couple of weeks. Well, guess what? That could be 1,000 calories extra a day, reduced in output. That could potentially adjusting. So that might be a reason where acutely you need to adjust your input. There's honestly not too other many reasons why you would have to stop bulking. I'm of the opinion that you should be spending as much time as you physically can while within those constraints of not acceptably fat and being able to eat. You should spend as much time of your year as possible in that surplus, in a period of caloric surplus, whereby your body weight is slowly creeping up. As long as everything is acceptable body fat wise, as long as everything is acceptable with your appetite wise, the more time you can spend within that surplus, the more muscle on a scale you are going to grow. And that is fact. So don't get me wrong, for some people that might be a year-long gain. For some people like myself, it's probably going to be more like 6 months on, a couple months off, 6 months on, but just from appetite reasons. So there is going to be a unique scenario for everyone. Not everyone is, black and white, eat and not eat. There's lots of variables in between, but those are some real good guidelines for you to take on board in your own training as to when potentially you need to stop that bulk and think about coming back down and reshuffling where you start from. So we'll leave that there. Just another little small topic there. If you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like, drop a comment, let me know what you want to hear me talk about next in terms of a small topic, and we'll move forward from there, guys. So peace and love, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.